Big Oz Cartwright leads out the Premiers, the champion side of the Winfield Cup. Penrith here on the northern end of Australia, and wins so far in this round in Newcastle and Illawarra, making a must-win game for Penrith tonight. A vital, vital game for them. Let's have a look how they line up. Leeds is at the back of the pack. Mackay, the powerhouse winger, and Nissen on the other side. Then Bentley, Izzard. They make up the centre pairings. Fittler and Tollett, they're around the scrum base. Vanderboot, he's at lock. Kennedy and Cartwright, who is the captain. Kennedy is a replacement player wearing 21. And the front row made up of Shane Boyd in 8. And of course, McNamara in 10. And Brett Boyd, the brother, makes up the front row. The side coached by Phil Gould. South Sydney also have just come out onto the park. Looking at big Mark Carroll, expects some big things from him. Johnston also wearing the headband. We've got Mabon, he's at fullback. Now on the wings it's Crossan and Keenan. The centre pairing tonight is Patterson and Thompson. The half and 5/8 of Brown and Coleman. Locking the scrum is Andrews, also the captain of the side tonight. Carroll and Hinchier, another replacement player in the South Sydney side tonight, wearing jumper number 40. The front row is Johnston in 8. Goodwood in 10, and Sidaris, the powerhouse hooker, wearing number 9. The side, of course, is coached by Frank Curry. Go up here in the top end, a magnificent sky. We've just seen a spectacular sunrise, and conditions really, since the sun has gone down, almost perfect for rugby league. Not as humid as we first thought. It was very hot here this afternoon, but it's cooled down some, and Paul Vaughton, this ground is in magnificent condition.
Yeah, I've played here a few times myself, Darryl. It's a great ground to play at. Atmosphere's very good. They love their footy up here, the Darwinians, and I think we're in for a top game. South Sydney, although they're running 12th in the competition, they're a hard side to beat. Very unlucky against Canberra last week.
Graham West is the referee tonight with this job of containing two very eager sides. Ian Cosson ready to kick off here. Very vocal crowd. We've had some wonderful displays from the Aboriginal communities up here, the firework displays, and the people have just been itching to see the Winfield Cup stars here at the top end in Darwin. It's been a marvellous promotion. Congratulations to the New South Wales Rugby League. Really taking the game round like this is just wonderful. Right, here we go, underway for this very important clash on this Saturday night. Penrith will have first use of the ball through Andrew Leeds. He comes back, wrapped up very quickly by Mark Carroll, drives him down, the big fella. And you can see the smoke still hanging around this ground from the fireworks display with just completed a couple of moments ago. But Penrith now pinned down in their 22, trying desperately to get out of there, tackled on the 22 now. So Penrith the option to go both ways. They elect now to run it straight out through the forwards, and that's the replacement player Gary Kennedy wearing 21 with his first touch of the ball. Again, they come up the centre. Stepping around and trying to get through is McNamara, but his work play halfway between the quarter and the halfway line, and a penalty goes to Penrith with Johnston holding down.
Well, the worst thing about
trying to get the ball out.
The worst thing about that mistake, Darryl, it's happened on the 5th tackle. South Sydney defended very well for those first 5. They kept Penrith in their own 30-metre zone, and then Johnston made a poor error.
One of the things we've got to remember as well when you start a football game is that you've got to make sure you stay squeaky clean, because all the refs, they're all looking out to make an impression on the game and stamp the authority on the game. So it was a bad set of 6 really for South there.
Tollett gets a little handball off to Keenan. Keenan tackled midway behalf of the quarter. This is South end of the ground now. Fires a hard ball out. Wrapped up centre field though, Penrith. Nowhere to go there. South's defence holding pretty well. Have only made maybe a metre or two. Cartwright now, he strides hard. Makes 4 or 5 very important metres there for Penrith. Now it comes out to Tollett. Tollett shows the ball. Holds it back, Tollett, with a little stepping run. Comes back inside, still going. Driven down there though by... Who was it? Johnston, was it? Or was it Carroll? They're both wearing headgear. We'll have to sort that out. So Penrith now have almost got play to the 22, running out of tackles. Through they go with Fittler. Fittler puts his boot to the ball, wrapped up pretty quickly by Southso. Well, Steve Roach, a fairly impressive start to the Panthers so far.
Yeah, very good opening from the Panthers. I look at these both sides and I think it's going to be a hard slog in the first 20 minutes with Souths leading the way. But then I look at the Penrith side with John Cartwright and Brad Fittler, very experienced players. I think they'll show in the long run.
Plenty of defence coming in from Penrith too. They've got South's pin just 10 metres out from the line as they make a darting run to try and get out through Andrews. He's the captain of the side. Or was it Hinchy? Hinchy. The line here, not quite what we're used to in the Sydney grounds, but it is adequate for rugby league. Back they go for Manoa Thompson to get the clearing kick away. Towering kick too. It'll bounce once or twice, taken now by Mackay. Mackay brings it up, taken then. Beautiful tackle though. Brought down by Sidaris.
Yeah, good chase by South. Great tackle by Sidaris. Because Graham Mackay, we've seen in recent weeks, has been in outstanding form for the Panthers on the wing. He normally beats 2 or 3 as Shane Boyd takes up the running.
So Penrith right on the halfway line, centre field now, comes out to Tollett. Tollett fires one out for Izzard. Izzard puts it down, tries to unload, but can't. They wrap him up. But they're inside South's territory by 5 again. Comes back for Tollett now. He looks for runners. Gets it on to McManara. Centre field. Again, Tollett. Tollett decides to kick, stabs the ball down, should find the line. Nice kick there from Tollett. Easy metres gained from Penrith. And they're looking the goods of champions at the moment.
Yeah, I think Penrith will be happy with that first set of 6 tackles, that second set of 6 tackles. They haven't given the ball away, they haven't given any penalties away, and they've kept South deep down in their half in the 25-yard area.
And I think we've got a blood bin situation here, Darryl. Carl McNamara is the man who's got a cut under his right eye, and the man going on, Peter Trevitt.
Yeah, a fair bit of blood coming out of that.
Graham Mackay's a sort of player, just going back to him for 1 minute, is that he releases so much pressure off the forwards, and he's so big and strong, he must weigh about 50.5 stones, and he'll come in and release the pressure for them.
Still no score in this match with South Sydney now with their chances. Maybon brings it out. Carroll with a hard charging run that we know he can produce all night long, and they'll need to do that tonight. He and Johnston will need to have big ones. Here's Johnston now. He revs it up another 4 or 5. Coleman darts in a dummy half. Again, Johnston comes up. Or is it to Carroll? No, it's Carroll. So the 2 men now, both wearing headgear. I'll sort them out in a second. But they're coming wave after wave south. They put it down for Leeds. He takes it well. Safe, this fellow at fullback.
Yeah, since coming from Parramatta, he's really kicked on this year. He's a good player, very safe. I wouldn't say he's an outstanding runner of the football, but he makes no mistakes, and he's a good goal kicker.
So Penrith again, this time with the ball, and it's Keenan bringing it up. Centre field, midway between the half and the quarter, the Panthers. Steve Roach, well, every time Penrith get the ball, they look to have a little bit more control and speed.
Yeah, they certainly do. You know, they play with 8 forwards. I mean, Graham Mackay and Glenn Nissen come into the ruck all the time. Every set of 6 tackle and take the pressure off their forwards, so that helps them to have a bit of a break.
Leeds with a put the boot to the ball, but Cosson took it pretty well. So South now with a chance to show us what they can do. Out it comes to Sidaris. That's what he can do. He puts it down. Cartwright picks it up. Wrestling match goes just short of the quarter line, and there is a Penrith player down. He has not moved. I can't pick who it is. Hasn't moved.
I think South at the moment, they're struggling a little bit. They're missing the first up tackle, and I think that's very important that they start sorting out the defence, because 1 or 2 of the Penrith players are going through the first tackle.
Izzard it was that's down for Penrith. He's back on his feet, looks a bit groggy though. They're throwing the ball around with some pretty fancy footwork and ball work here as Tollett now straightens it up. They get it back inside, plenty of runners coming through. Mackay takes it about 11 metres out now. Mackay, they'll play it and got plenty of options of which way to go now as Fittler turns it back inside for Izzard. Izzard's recovered from that knock he just took. Cartwright. Oh, nice ball from Cartwright, but it just slips away. South's fall on it. Bogie pulled some of those off against St George last week.
Yeah, great player, Johnny Cartwright. Always takes the odds, and unfortunately on that occasion, it went to ground. Just looking to pop it around the corner. Johnson got his hand in the way and recovered the ball, but enterprising stuff from the Panthers.
Coleman now to work it for South. Sedaris comes hard and straight. Only goes 4 or 5. Well, Steve Roach, South have to do something, I think, and use the ball a little bit more, other than just running one out.
Yeah, they certainly do. They're not running any ruck plays at the moment, but just on John Cartwright, he knows which end of the field to do his ball playing. You'll never see him do it in his own 25.
Noah Thompson, big kicker of the ball, but Leeds perfectly positioned. He brings it back, beats one. Leeds, nice run from Leeds. Probably 25 metres there, easily gained. Tollett now, Tollett looking for a long ball out. Boyd it was with the ball, centre field. They go the other way this time to Kennedy, is it? In 21. Fires it out for Tollett. He's a busy player. Tollett tries to set him up. He's on. He's over the nice ball for Fittler, but Fittler's rattled down. Out they come again, Tollett. Oh, gee whiz. Player 41 there, which we're looking at was Peter Trevette. Marginal pass there, Tollett. Little stab kick, they chase it through. South cleaning up mistake. Oh, touch and go for South Sydney. Pretty messy in that in-goal area.
They look like a side, Penrith, who they know what they've got to do. They know that they've got to head towards the finals, and it looks like Souths are really struggling at the moment. They just can't get out of that 25-yard area. The only way they can get out at the moment is by the kicking game. The forwards have got to take hold of this game and start running some good rucks for them.
And Craig Coleman talking to his players, why wouldn't he? They're sending out SOSs everywhere. They're in dire straits early in this match, and the referee now talking to a South player with
Craig Coleman, a player you know a lot about.
Yeah, Craig, he's a really creative player, but the thing is, he's got to have his forwards behind him. I mean, he can't do it on his own. His forwards have got to lead the way, and, they've got to set the platform for the rest of the South side, really. You can't expect the backs to come in and do the work unless the forwards have set the platform.
Okay, still no score in this match. Penrith and South Sydney, 8 minutes of play. Already a no score. Penrith have looked to crack them a couple of times, but South's defence is held when it matters. Big, long drop kick, that one. That's going to get right back on the 22 on the fly as Trevitt brings it back for Penrith. And that's on a bad return either. He's made at least 30 metres there.
Well, that's the biggest drop kick I've ever seen in my life. It's gone dead set 90 metres, and it's a real big plus for the South as Mackay keeps breaking tackles.
Look at Mackay, he's a bustler. He muscles his way 2 or 3. They finally wrestle him down. Looking for the runners, and there's plenty of them there, but can't take it this time, Penrith. Putting it down, Shane Boyd.
Yeah, just taking his eye off the ball at the last moment there as the defence was coming up. That's a no-no. Just having a little peg. Good pressure by Michael Andrews on him.
So this scrum set right in front of our commentary position, just inside Penrith's end of the ground. Coleman to feed. Messi out of the scrum, but picked up pretty quickly by South as they bring it up, and Maybon makes a little run of maybe 4 or 5. And Noah Thompson moves in to acting half. He goes from there, but this is no good from South. This one-up stuff's not going to get through Penrith.
No, it won't. Those runs from dummy half, just very easy play for the markers at Penrith, who are working well tonight. They need Coleman. He's on the left now. He's looking to put something on down the blind side. Coleman looking for runners, and the runner was there, but unfortunately couldn't hold the ball. That was Jim Hinchy to put it down. And here's Leeds. Leeds now with a nice stepping run. Gee whiz, he's showing plenty of foot style and footwork tonight. Boyd gets a nice pass out too. So Penrith now starting to work their way down blocker. This is when they look good.
Yeah, they certainly do. They've got a bit of a roll on now, but I thought it would be Craig Coleman controlling the game for South Sydney, but it's actually the opposition, Tollett, for the Penrith side, is doing a very good job at the moment.
What you're seeing here from now Penrith, that they're hitting the ball at speed, and they're also hitting the advantage line, and they're just getting that roll on to get the rest of the players going forward.
So at the moment, no score between Penrith and South Sydney being played here at Richardson's Park in Darwin. Scrum packed. South end of the ground, South ball. Now what can they do this time? They straighten the attack up. Nowhere to go though. There's the scrums for you. Bit lopsided already in this game. Strong runner Brown with the ball here. Sedaris now, Sedaris, he's got some backup with Manoa Thompson, but couldn't get the ball away. Oh, Sedaris looking better then. Open them up with a strong run. Manoa Thompson couldn't take the ball though. So South's play breaks down. Patterson. Now it comes out for Johnston. Sedaris. In for Coleman. Andrews dancing around, but nowhere to go there. Carroll, hard and fast now. They're only about 12 out, so Souths with their best chance at the moment. This is the best time or field position they've had in the game. Turns a loose pass back. Coleman, though, loses the ball, jumps on it. Referee says play on. So now he blows it up.
No, he asked Coleman to play the ball. The ball was on the ground. They finally finished up with the South Sydney, and Coleman thought he'd ruled play on, but he wanted him to play it. Coleman, he's called him to play the ball, called fifth tackle, and he just lobbed it up in the air, and the penalty's gone against them. Bad luck for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, I think Souths were probably unlucky there, but I think what the penalty was for there, Paul, was that he didn't play the ball between his legs properly.
Nelry, that's something that is creeping into the game here. Newcastle.
I think the reason why it's creeping into the game is that players are that insistent and trying to get up that quickly to play the ball so that they can hit the advantage line quicker their side.
Boyd for Penrith, but Newcastle having a big problem with that, as we witnessed today.
Well, I think the referees have got to crack down on it. The play of the ball is a very simple procedure, which some sides are trying to get around by, well, call it cheating, call it what you like, but the ball must be played correctly.
Cartwright turns back inside for Izzard. Izzard now, nice work for Leeds. Leeds tried to unload it, just couldn't get it away that last pass. Breaking down again, Cartwright again, charges round, turns it back inside. Oh, this is good stuff now. Bentley there, opening him up. He's only a few minutes from the 22 as Cartwright puts a big one up in the air. Underneath it for South, loose ball. Try. No try. No try. Whoa! Bad time for South Sydney then. Nightmare stuff. Southdale, run it out quickly.
Yeah, great kick from Johnny Cartwright. He's having a blinder early in the match, Cartwright. Lots of angle running by him, setting up his supports. And on that occasion, they all went up for it, but it was ruled to go forward off the Penrith player, and the changeover occurred.
Mate, it's the same story with South. I mean, they've been playing for like 15 minutes now, and South have got to realise that the first up defence has got to tackle. They're just dropping off tackles like flies.
Maybon then with a little dancing, stepping run, almost got through. South at times, Sedaris has cracked him, and now Maybon. This is Brown. Brown flicks it back. Coleman's got to dive back for it. Patterson gets pushed out of the acting half position by Sedaris. For Manoa Thompson, belts it downfield. Leeds has got it. It's actually a very, very good kick because he split Leeds. He's had to go back for it, but where's South chases? Crossan, the only one up there. Leeds throws a dummy, gets past him. And Jim Hinchy brings him down. The chase is slow to go through from South.
Yeah, they just look off the game as now Nissen makes good ground, goes straight up the middle. They're really not recovering, South Sydney in defence. Good quick play the balls by Penrith. They're really catching them off guard.
So Penrith now, centre field, midway between the quarter and the half. Their end of the ground comes out for Tollett. Tollett stepping around. Hinchy comes underneath him and takes him with a penalty to Penrith. South's offside.
One of the things Penrith have got to realise, they've got to be real patient here now, because they've had a couple of opportunities that have just gone on the fringe of nearly scoring a try. They've just got to be patient and work their way back up the field, and they'll get the points if they keep going on like this.
Steve Roach, big Hoss Carter's doing a bit of tricky kicking tonight. Is that going to come into your game?
No, mate, I don't think it will. But the thing I like about Horse Cartwright is he mixes his game up. He runs off the ruck flat, and then he gets himself out wide. He's a very good player. As Fatty said, he runs a lot of angles. Very good ball player.
Well, Penrith now in good field position here as Nissen charges hard just inside the 22.
Carl McNamara back on for the Penrith side after getting that head cut stitch. He's just about to take the ball up now.
Tollett flicks one through very quickly for McNamara. And they're deep in the 22, so Penrith with their best chance, but they've lost the ball. So Sedaris comes away. Ooh, some high stuff there from Vandervoort. Sedaris still going. Gets a nice ball away, so South now keeping it alive. This is better play from South Sydney.
But it really is basic poor defence from both sides tonight. One-on-one, the defence has been very, very ordinary indeed, and both coaches would be very disappointed with how their sides are defending.
Maybon for Coleman. Comes up for Carroll. He works play midway between the half and the quarter, South end of the ground. Johnston. South selecting to kick again, but Leeds in nice position. Brings it back and gets through the first, gets through the second. Oh, Leeds with a great run back to the halfway line. He's having a great game. Andrew Leeds tonight, good run there. So Penrith now still on the attack and going forward all of the time. Still no score here in Darwin. Plenty of ball movement though. The defence has been a little iffy on both sides, but this man having a giant game, Cartwright. 16th minute, no score on the board. Tollett, dancing centre field. Come out for Boyd. Boyd with a nice slick pass. Oh, this is better stuff. Vandervoort now. He's got inside if he can get it to Nissan. Oh no, South spoil again. The pass over the top, taken by South.
Lovely passing movement there by the Panthers a bit. Why did Vandervoort want to pass that ball? He should have taken the tackle. A beautiful break made. The pass was never on. Craig Coleman's only 4 foot tall, but he wasn't going to get it over his head.
There's no way whatsoever in this earth he was going to ever get the ball over. He should have just took the tackle in his 25 and set the motion back up again from the 25-yard area.
Crossing for Souths, 11 metres out. Well, Blocker, South still electing to sort of, I guess, in their 22 run it one out. They've made a couple of breaks through this fellow Sidaris and also Maybon.
Yeah, they've been a bit underestimated at the moment, but you know, I think Craig Coleman should start taking control of the game now and start shifting the ball a bit. They're not moving the Penrith defence around at all.
Thompson again with a big kick. Just got a bird on him, this fellow. Leeds takes it beautifully though. This time the chasing team much better from South Sydney down there. They're there this time, and Johnston makes the tackle. So Penrith now inside their 22. It seemed to get out there pretty easy. No score, I remind you, as yet. Penrith running it through Boyd. Now this is Vandervoort again. Vandervoort takes him on down the centre, doesn't let the pass go this time. No, Tollett the only man near him.
Did the right thing now. They're still on the attack. Fittler, the left foot step. Cartwright.
Izzard turns it back inside for Mackay. Mackay! Oh, muscles and hustles, but he's just short of the line. Back it comes, plays it forward. No, messy stuff.
Oh no, we've got 10 minutes in the bin. Jim Sidaris, 10 in the bin.
Oh, this will make it hard for South Sydney now. 10 minutes in the sin bin.
And they'll take the kick for goal, Darryl. John Cartwright signalled that he wants to take the shot. An infringement in the play the ball by Sidaris. They're looking for he's never onside, Sidaris, just interfered in the play of the ball. And he's got 10 minutes.
I think Sidaris, he had no option there, really. I mean, he deserved to go off the field for 10 minutes in the sin bin. It was a professional foul, really. In the fact that a professional penalty, sorry. He just didn't make any attempt to sort of like clear the ruck area and just get back on side. But he knew that his side was in trouble. You know, he gave them breathing space. He'll probably be happy that they'll probably only go 2 points down if he kicks the goal.
Well, Andrew Leeds lining it up for Penrith. Perhaps the first points going on the board. A fine game, Leeds, tonight.
But once again, it all boils down to South's defence, really. They had Penrith down there, and they're deep in their own half in the 25-yard area, and they've let them back out again with sloppy defence on the one-on-one defence.
Maybon, you can see getting some treatment. So Leeds now. There's the angle for you. And you can see the perspiration absolutely dripping out here with the humidity. As I said, a lot cooler than we thought it was going to be. Perfect night here in Darwin, Richardson Park. And finally, we get some points on the board. Penrith leading South Sydney 2-0. Well, Steve Roach, I think with Sidaris off, by gee, this is going to be a worrying period now for South Sydney.
Yeah, I just hope Penrith don't start to shift the ball around. They've still got to go forward and keep doing what they're doing. I think how many times you see in this game, Penrith have had all the possession and all the field position, and they haven't yet scored a try. I think if they don't score soon, you know, South Sydney could hit back with a try. You see it a lot in this game.
I think if I was a Souths coach, Steve, there, I'd be quite happy that I'd only be 2-0 down at this point in the game, really, because I think Penrith have had that many opportunities, and just the last passes let them down.
So Nissan now running it back for Penrith. Takes it around about 14 metres out. Cartwright. Almost to the 22. Fatty, they're doing it pretty easy out of this 22, aren't they?
They are, and when they've made ground, it's through their little short passing game. The inside pass has been on all night, and we see some more ground made from Boyd from the dummy half area. Good hit by Johnson over the top, but when they just run a little bit wider and pass that ball inside, the South defence isn't covering the inside ball.
McManara. Again, they're spinning around through Cartwright. He turned around to offload, but there was nobody in the right position, so he took the tackle. Back for Boyd. Now it comes out for Mackay. He drives the ball down deep. Maybon gets an awful bounce. He's going to come back now. He gets, and gets hit hard by Mackay. Great chasing there. Mackay put that ball up almost midway between the half and the quarter, his end of the ground, and got Maybon about 10 metres out. Big chase.
Yeah, great chase by Mackay. He came from behind the kicker and was onside. And Maybon in all sorts of trouble there.
Big man on a little big man there. Brown. So Souths now. For Andrews. Big hit on Andrews too. Goes back for Thompson. He's been busy, Thompson, in that very same spot of the ground, kicking them out of trouble all night. Now Leeds, he's really made some good ground bringing the ball back. He gets it back for Tollett. Tollett starts to step and dance, taken midway between the half and the quarter. Penrith end of the ground. Boyd put one out but couldn't be taken. And Souths come up with a pill, and that's what they need desperately.
It's bad luck for Penrith there, but Steve Rhodes, Shane Boyd, the Penrith props, popped a couple of nice passes tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has, and I've been very impressed with him, along with McNamara. I know he spent an early stint in the blood bin, but he's come back and he's popped a couple of nice passes too. Souths haven't ventured to spread the football at all. It's pretty boring stuff at the moment.
They get it on to Carroll. Mark Carroll tries to get the arms free, but taken.
And a change in the South Sydney side, Darryl. Matt Goodwin has been replaced and his spot taken by number 25, Blake Butcher.
Blake Butcher on in 25.
I think South would be better advised to try and get away from the ruck area and spread the ball a little bit wide and give it some air, because at the moment Penrith are just too strong in the middle.
Better stuff this time with Thompson trying to clear it out. The ball went loose though. Still in play. Leeds cleans up again for Penrith. Inside his 22 now, puts on the pace and makes another 4 or 5. He's having a fine game, Andrew Leeds, tonight. Now they look at these wingers looking for work tonight. This is Nissen. We've seen Mackay coming in. He's been looking for work all night. Cartwright having a fine game also. Goes on to Izzard, took an early knock. Now they open him up now as Fittler. Fittler striding down, he's got support inside. Izzard, yes! Try tie Penrith! Try tie Penrith! Brad Fittler just opened him up, strode down the field, got it onto Izzard, that's a nice try.
Yeah, great stuff by Penrith, only a matter of time. The South Sydney defence is crying out for help, they're just not tackling. And a beautiful, some passing here from Cartwright and Izzard. Great passes from Izzard, drew his man, 2-on-1 there, the winger slipped over, he's 100 to 1. Fittler just a simple case now of drawing and passing, and Izzard backing up the inside. He started it with the pass and he finished it off.
South's want to be fortunate that they're only sort of like 8 points down at this stage with this kick to come. But it was only a matter of time that Penrith were going to score, really, because South still haven't caught on yet that they've got to get the defence sorted out. Even tight in the close ruck area, when Penrith are taking the ball up, Penrith are still coming out the other end, and, you know, South have just got to make sure they drive the forwards back.
Blocker, some Fittler class there.
Oh, he's a great player, isn't it? South Sydney, as we said, the defence hasn't adjusted to the blind side. They were very short on that blind side, but, you know, it's really good to see the skills of Fittler slowed down a bit to take the fullback maybe inside to Izzard. That's a great try for the Penrith Panthers.
So Andrew Leeds now the chance to boot Penrith further on, 6-0 at the moment with the kick to come. And for a long time with this match, I think about 18 minutes before we had a score on the board. We've had a rush from Penrith in the last 5. So Leeds. He's not too many easy attempts tonight, but he's kicked pretty well. No breeze to speak of here. Very, very still night in Darwin. Again gets the money. So Andrew Leeds making a big contribution tonight with this Penrith side at the moment, and they're leading 8 points to 0 over South Sydney.
Souths are making it twice as hard for themselves. Not only they're missing tackles, I mean, they've got a man off the field as well, and someone's got to get hold of them, you know, and tell them that they've got to start tackling, they've got to start moving up and stop Penrith from coming down the middle and coming out the other end.
Well, Blocker, we did say when Sedaris went off, it was a trying time for Souths.
Yeah, certainly is. You know, especially with their big players, Peter Johnson, Matt Goodwin has been replaced now, and Mark Carroll. They're just a bit slow to get back on side after Penrith have made some inroads into them.
Well, I guess we're saying it's a lovely night for football, and it is, but I guess this humidity would be sapping the big men of Souths. Penrith again on the attack outside their 22, just 2 passes, and they've cleared out of that danger zone. Plenty of options from Penrith. Now the defence comes in from South. Mark Carroll standing there like tall timber. Boyd being clever tonight. Boyd halfway between the quarter and the halfway line, comes back for Tollett. That's not a good kick from Tollett that time. That was a horror off the side of the boot. So Tollett been busy tonight, but just a bad kick there, just a mistake from the youngster. He's had a fine game. There it goes, bang, straight off the side of the boot. Scrum the pack. 32 out from the Penrith line. South feed. Coleman gets it out for Brown. Brown looking for Mabon. It goes to Thompson. Thompson still going. Thompson trying to. Now he gets it back to Mabon. Mabon starts to dance. He gets it on to Brown. Brown muscles and hustles a couple. Up they come for Butcher. Ooh, big body contact there with Butcher. Turned around and just ran into the Penrith defence. And a penalty coming out to South Sydney, not allowing Butcher to play the ball.
There's some big body contact there by Boyd on Butcher, and Boyd trying to ascertain some authority there over Butcher. Wouldn't get off him, and you know, you've just got to get out of the way. This is a Ian Crossan. He's kicked 1 million goals this year. He should make a bird of this one.
Yeah, Blocker, this fella's been a journey as far as the kicking department goes.
He certainly has. I think he's on 98 points. If he gets this, it's his 100. But good to see South Sydney shifting the ball around a bit. I mean, it puts the Penrith defenders in 2 minds, and they've got to do more of that if they want to get back into this game.
The thing about them is, Ellery, South Sydney, they've got some very enterprising backs and a lot of pace there with like Patterson, Thompson out in the backs, and Mabon to join in. I think they've got to use those backs a lot more, haven't they?
That's right, Paul. I mean, there's no way whatsoever on earth that they're going to actually out-muscle Penrith right in the middle of the ruck area. They're just too big and strong.
Crossan now with his attempt. Up it goes. He gets the 2 points, and that's his 100 points spot, I think, for the season. So now the scoreline reads Penrith 8 over South Sydney 2. So South Sydney on the board now. Should have lift the team a little. This crowd, Sedaris waiting to come back on. You can see the timer there. Gives him the nod. So Jimmy Sedaris coming back on. That'll be a relief for Souths. I'm quite amazed at the crowd here. It's a big crowd, but they're not very vocal, are they?
Oh, I think they will if the game hots up a bit and you know, a few big forward clashes. They are enjoying it though. They might be sitting in stunned silence in awe of some of the action we've seen tonight.
I couldn't believe when Blocker, you and Ellery arrived at the ground today. You're absolutely mobbed by the youngsters. Gee whiz, they just loved it. You guys were there for about an hour signing autographs. It was great to see.
Yeah, it's a great venture from the New South Wales Rugby League to bring game to the Northern Territory. You know, they see all the players on television and don't get the opportunity to see them in the flesh. And we certainly enjoyed it, didn't we, Ellery?
That's right, Blocky. I mean, it was great for the spectators and everything.
Izzard now the half a break. They're in on the 22 again. Bentley goes in at acting half. He'll get to Tollett. Tollett looking for runners. It goes to Vandervoort. He just burrows his way in centre field, so the options are both ways. Look for Tollett. No, the runners are going to go to Boyd. Boyd hard and straight. Grinds it out. They're about 11 metres out now. Back to his brother, comes on to Tollett. Tollett looking for Cartwright, but he's only a decoy runner. Fittler takes it, the try scorer. Still about 9 metres out.
Nah, got him for a shepherd on that play. Decoys everywhere. And Graham West, the referee, has ruled a shepherd against the Penrith side, and South don't they need this penalty. Izzard, just Cole Bentley there. He ruled that he was this man who shepherded with Andrews. Yeah, it looked like a bit of a dusty penalty to me. I didn't think anyone was taking it.
I agree with that too. Okay, but Souths clear it out, get right out of the danger zone. They bring play halfway between their quarter and halfway line. Sadaris. This is Butcher. Hard and straight Butcher since he come on. Coleman. Cosson comes in. Centre field. Really have only made a couple of metres. Andrews was a dummy. South bogged down where they are. Carroll plays it back. Sadaris just back on the field. Comes out of one. Slips and trips. Now goes forward. Now into Penrith half. That's better stuff. And loses the ball. Coleman swoops on it. The referee says we'll have a scrum.
For some reason, I think South still think that they're going to outmuscle Penrith in the middle of the park. Either that or the coach has told them they've got to stick to the game plan and keep hitting it up in the middle.
Brad Izzard. Strong as an ox. So Penrith now are back with Bentley. And again in South Sydney territory, midway between the half and the quarter. Comes out for Tollett. He's got plenty of options again. Penrith holding up the ball to show it. Takes the tackle, though.
Another missed tackle there by Carroll. Some of these South players are intent on bashing the daylights out of Penrith rather than just be content to get the man and get him down and make an effective tackle. They've got to substitute a bit of this intensity for just effectiveness.
Well, they've got the ball, Paddy. Let's see what they can do with it this time.
The thing is, Paul, you know, you're exactly right there. You know, a big hit only comes along now and again. You know, you just got to make sure you do if the man's there in front of you, you tackle the man and, you know, you position yourself correctly.
Carroll takes it with his good run into the Penrith half. Butcher again. He's been busy since he come on, Butcher, hasn't he? Andrews. But there's just no one there. There was no one in position to take that ball. He turned to pass, and there was just no one there to take it. Comes out for Coleman. He tries to take control, puts a little chip kick over the top. Thompson follows it through. Penrith clean it up, though, through Leeds. Leeds stepping and dancing. Defence comes to him now and slams him down. So every time South look like they've got a chance, unfortunately, play goes astray. Play breaking down a fair bit in this first half. I remind you of the score, 8-2 Penrith over South Sydney. Well, Blocker, I don't know. I think the way South is standing up, I think Penrith could probably use a little chip and kick and run too.
Yeah, I'm certain Craig Coleman playing up in the line. He's a great play,
Izzard strides down, forget the chip and kick. He'll just do it by bollocking his way down. Great run from Izzard. Sorry, Blocker.
Yeah, I think Gus Gould will be very happy with his two virtually unknown front rowers, but are making a name for themselves tonight. Shane Boyd and Carl McNamara. They're playing very well.
Darryl, I don't think Penrith have to do the chip and chase game or really vary the game much, really, because they're making that much yardage.
Chance now for Fittler. Fittler draws his man to it again. Oh, Bentley under the post this time for Penrith. Well, it all happened so quick. Let me tell you, Penrith had to go backwards then. Lost about 15 metres in that movement. Straightened it up through Fittler, and Bentley was right at his hip to take the pass.
Oh, the Panthers doing it easy here tonight, just throwing the ball around willy-nilly, and there's always support there. Nissen actually runs backwards to evade a man, and Fittler gets the ball. Look, he's 40 metres out from the sticks, and a beautiful right foot step, and look at the power surging through that gap there. Another weak tackle by Butcher, and positioned his man on the inside once again. Bentley over under the sticks. He's having a great game. Fittler actually playing in the centres with Izzard at 5'8".
Mate, simple. If South continue to defend like that, you know, expect an avalanche.
Blocker.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll be very happy with that. What a class player he is too, Brad Fittler. Though he had a tragedy a couple of weeks ago with his mate dying, he's certainly come back in flying colours.
So Andrew leads with his simplest attempt so far tonight. Scoreline now 12-2 with a kick to come. Shouldn't have any trouble with this at all. This game really slipping away from South at the moment. So Leeds moves in. Stab bang and the flags go up. So 14-2, Penrith leading South Sydney.
And South just don't seem to have the answers tonight. They're attacking play. There's not much doing there. Coleman, I think Coleman's got to start running the ball a bit more himself. He's a tricky little player. Gus Gould, he's a happy man. They'll just wind down now to the half-time break. Still urging his players on. Great coach, Phil Gould.
So Cosson to restart the 35th minute of the game. Restart for Souths. They've had plenty of practice at this in the last few minutes because Penrith really starting to stitch their game together. McManara has been off to the blood bin early, but played strongly since he came back. And there's just plenty of runners here for Penrith. They're all eager to get hold of the ball. Cartwright ran in, but it goes to Boyd. Low and pretty well built close to the ground, but a tough customer.
Playing well, Cartwright. He's been instrumental as well tonight. Lots of good ground made up that middle and hasn't offloaded too many passes, but hasn't had to because the likes of Izzard and Fittler have done it all for him. And a great kick there from Graham Mackay. And look at the Penrith chase. They're keen.
Tollett takes Mabon. Doesn't clear the 22.
I think South will be just happy to go in at half-time with the score as it is at the moment and just to hear the half-time score, really, because at the moment they're under hiding to nothing.
So Carroll went hard and straight for 4 or 5. That's all. Coleman now shovels it out for Brown. Brown gets it back for Coleman on the run around. Now Manoa Thompson. We wanted to see him run a bit, Thompson. He can motor. He's elected to kick the ball mostly tonight. Andrews gets one out for Johnston. Is it handballs over the top for Butcher? Butcher taken right in front of our commentary box now as Cosson feeds it out. He gets it out to Coleman. Coleman stabs for the line. Leeds perfect position. Has Nissen back in support. Leeds runs it back out of the 22 now. And the South Sydney defence meets him. So Souths, every time they belt it down, Penrith they make a lot of yardage coming with the return of the ball. Time running out in the first half as Boyd again crashes through. Well, Blocker, I think maybe they've got to kick a bit deeper, Souths.
Yeah, they certainly do. It all boils down to enthusiasm. I mean, Penrith have got 13 blokes willing to run the football. When Souths are in possession, they've only, 3 or 4 players that are willing to run the football.
So Fittler that time put a little stab kick down, taken by Mabon, but look at the chases coming through for Penrith. Mabon, though, almost half a break, slammed down from Fittler, who kicked that ball. Big defence from Fittler. The little man just got flung down like a rag doll. Comes out for Brown now. Over for Patterson. Patterson with a bit of a step. South with half a step down. Patterson, oh, that's better stuff from South Sydney. Good run from Patterson. He straightened them up and made some yardage. Now they're on a bit of a roll. They get it out to Coleman. Feeds it out for Thompson. Thompson now looks to straighten it out. Nice pass for Butcher. Butcher gets to the 22. Mabon calls Cosson inside. And Cosson tackle inside the 22. That's better stuff from South. That's the Rabbitohs we know. And the way they can play the ball. They like to throw it around. They're nighttime specialists. Patterson again. Made that good run inside the 22. Brown straightens it up. There's plenty of support. They shove it out. Straight into Penrith's hands. Well, Kennedy ended up with it for Penrith. So Penrith now back in their 22, running it out through Nissen. Well, much more enterprising play that time from South Sydney, Steve Roach.
Yeah, certainly. And that's a South Sydney, as you said before. That's a South Sydney we know. But let's just look at John Cartwright. He'll probably get a ball away here. Yeah,
it is the South we know at night-time football. They love to throw it around.
Yeah, well, Craig Coleman's got to get himself a bit more involved. And I think the position of Darren Brown playing at 5'8", he's a bit out of character there. He should be playing a round lock forward and start shifting the ball from that position.
Patterson's got a bit of pace.
Yep, he certainly has. And, I can't believe they've only used him once or twice tonight.
So Cosson now, he takes the tackle. Centre field. They're midway between the half and the quarter. Coleman busily gets it back to Sidaris. They've got a roll on again with Butcher. I like this Butcher. He's been busy since he's been on. He's eager to get the ball and have a go. Coleman now switches it back for Manoa Thompson. Thompson with another ball back for Butcher. Oh, this is better stuff now. But they've run out of time, South Sydney, because there's the half-time hooter reminding you of the score, 14 points to 2. Penrith leading South Sydney here at the top end of Australia. Richardson's Park in Darwin, this big crowd enjoying the Winfield Cup Stars here. Welcome back to the top end of Australia, Richardson Park. You're looking at the beer can regatta. The boys have just had a warm-up down the length of the football ground, and the big regatta here tomorrow. Well, Fatty, there's the breakdown of the first half of play.
And Penrith, aren't they controlling the game well? nearly 60% of possession. That's a huge amount of possession in the first half of the game. I think the worst stat for the South Sydney side down low there, missed tackles, 19 missed tackles, and most first-grade sides during 80 minutes only missed between 20 and 23. So they've nearly got their quota already. Line breaks, Penrith 7 against South 3. Penrith carving up out wide, and Penrith really should go on and win this game quite easily.
It's all in readiness to go back. You can see Brad Fittler just drying himself off. Players losing a fair bit of fluid up here as Leeds drives the ball off as we commence the second half. Brown will take it for Souths. Straight away he gets it to Carroll. Hard run for Carroll. Good run too. Takes play about 33 metres out. Comes to the Sidaris. South stepping through the best way they can through Keenan. Centre field now, Coleman. Coleman, the little schemer, but he needs to do plenty of scheming. Score, I remind you, 14-2 in Penrith's favour. Johnston this time takes it up. He's almost to the halfway line. In fact, he is on the halfway line. Sidaris feeds it out to Trevette, or was that, yeah. So South's using the kick again, but Leeds beautifully positioned. Gee whiz, he's brought it back. Well, there's the top tacklers for you. John Cartwright with 15, Kennedy with 14, Boyd with 13. For Souths, Andrews 21, Carroll 19, Hinchy 18. In the backs, Bentley 7, Tollett 7, Mackay 4, Brown, Coleman both on 7, Mabon on 2. Well, Blocker, what was said at half-time, it was unusual to see the side sitting out in the ground.
Yeah, they're right on the sideline. I couldn't really get on there, Darryl, but I know what I would have been saying if I was Frank Curry. They're not putting the Penrith players on the ground. They're letting Dout play the ball too quick. They're too slow to get back on side from where the referee is positioned. And I think he'd be asking them, when they've got the football, to use the football a bit more. I'm sure that Phil Gould would be very happy with his young front rowers, McNamara and Boyd. And I think he just would want them to control the ball as well as they can and try and go on with this match.
I think Souths are going to probably do it tough this half because, I mean, psychologically, they've looked at the scoreboard and probably thought to themselves, we're not going to beat this Penrith side. And also psychologically, they're going to be thinking to themselves, they've nothing to play for. And even if they win this game, they're not going to get that much further up the ladder. And I think Penrith have hold all the aces.
See James Hinchy put an easy pass down there. Souths really struggling. Vandervoort's making a good run out wide, looking for support.
So Penrith now in South's territory. There's the ball that went loose. Penrith swooped on that. Again, they just bullocked their way upfield.
Yeah, another example of a big hit gone wrong. Carroll went for the big hit and just missed him cold. Now Shane Boyd, in an attempt to play that ball quickly, just dropped it. And the scrum to pack down.
He's been busy, Boyd, hasn't he? What a good game. Scrum packed down. 32 out from the South line. Coleman to feed. Comes back through Andrews. A fine tackling game, Andrews, for South. Hinchy.
Speaking to Craig Coleman just before the start of the game, he was really confident that they were going to win the football game, you know, but his assumption was probably on the fact that Penrith had too many problems in camp, but I think that, you know, Penrith are just far too strong.
Thompson with a buster gets it to Sidaris. They put it down again through Mabon this time. Misunderstanding between him and Brown. So Penrith again get the ball back. Now looking for their field position as they take it up through Vandervoort. And there's Sidaris throwing that pass. Mabon just couldn't handle it. Here's Cartwright now. Cartwright over the halfway line, just into South territory. Nissen acting half. Along the line, they're nice and deep. Vandervoort straightens it up.
At the moment, Penrith are just allowed to do anything they want. They can offload the ball, they can make as much yardage as they want. South have really got to get a grip of themselves.
Boyd. Play it back to Boyd, his brother. Now it goes back to Tollett. Tollett stabs down for the line. Cosson takes it though. So Souths in that danger area again, just out from their 22. Avon plays it back. Comes on for Johnston, is it? Crashing his way forward. South this time now make a raid down the touchline, but bundled into touch. So again, the movement breaks down, Blogger.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than the South Sydney players just running one out all the time. There's not even any ruck plays or any ball movement. I mean, it's very easy for the defence to gang tackle that way. I mean, if I had a mate next to me that wasn't, you know, taking the crabs off me, I'd be very dirty.
Brad Izzard coming off there, I noticed, holding a wrist. So, and again, they raid away Steve Carter this time on the field as a replacement for Penrith.
At the moment, it looks like Penrith have just dropped off the intensity a little bit, and the enthusiasm has just gone out of the game. I think they think they've got the ball game wrapped up, but, you know, there's a long way to go. There's still 35 minutes to go.
So, Souths now. On to Carroll. Just into Penrith territory. Sedaris giving some hand signals, but goes from dummy half. Makes 2 or 3, not a bad replacement to come on Steve Carter.
Yeah, great player, Steve Carter. Instrumental in their grand final win last year. He's a really good player, can cover any position in the back line. And South Sydney are just really struggling for ideas to try and break the Penrith defence. Penrith defence has been coming up off their line all night, nullifying anything Souths have had. As Coleman puts one into touch, looks a good kick.
Oh, great kick from Coleman. Centre field and just rolls into touch. Just about 1.5 metres out. Great kick from Coleman. Watch this, just really got the right angle on it. Bouncing ball, bang, over the line. Can't get much closer than that. Well, that's what they need to do, Blocker, just turn them around as much as they can.
Yeah, well, they're not making any inroads when they've got the football, so the only way is to go over the top or go for a bit of length and distance with a long kick from Coleman.
But what the problem is with South, what they've got, they get them down there in the 25-yard area, and then as soon as they get them down there, they let them out and come halfway down the field with easy yardage up the ruck area.
Yeah, you're right, Ellery. They get out of this 22. This is the second tackle. Oh, big hit. Oh, big hit that time. Wow. Peter Johnson with a ripper. That was a bone rattler. Bang. But Penrith again, they're exactly what you're talking about, Ellery. I mean, so easy, they're out of trouble.
Then at the end of it, you've got Graham Mackay can kick the ball 60, 70 yards down the field.
Yeah, Leach too. He's a big kicker of the ball. That was another big punt from him. So Crossan now. He goes from dummy half, wrapped up by Vandervoort. Well, Blogger, this has been a really good performance from Penrith. I mean, we've heard all about their adversity. We know the problems they've had, Mark Geyer leaving the club, but this has been a strong showing. Yeah,
it just shows what a professional club it is. And, you know, full marks to the players. You know, they're the ones that have got to get out and play the football. And I'm sure that their coach, Phil Gould, has got their minds back on the job. And they've played some good football tonight. They're going to be a threat in this top 5.
Thompson. Well, I've been at Penrith for most of the week, and they're very confident if they can get in the 5 that they're certainly going to give this premiership another rattle. And there's another fine kick from South, so they're making plenty of territory now with the boot.
Yeah, they're not bad kicks, but I wouldn't mind seeing Craig Coleman put a few high ones up and see if they can put some pressure on Andrew Leeds in the fullback spot. At least it's an even money bet when the ball's up in the air.
That's right, Paul. I mean, the problem here we've got is South. They're just allowing bloody Penrith to get back on side and regroup and all the way from their own 25-yard area.
So Penrith again work their way out of that 22. Oh, some good stuff from Penrith here. They really are committed tonight. They're backing each other up. Plenty of runners want the ball. Tollett for Cartwright. Saw a little gap, Cartwright. Taken down pretty quickly, though. Fittler, he's been tough tonight, Fittler. Through they go again with Kennedy, but they put the ball down, so South's come up in possession again. Is that Butcher?
Hinchy to play the ball. And South, what they're doing when they get a turnover, they're not prepared to spin the ball. If they had a spun it then, they've got a bit of space out wide here, but they just want to take 2 or 3 rucks in, and by the time they spin it, the space is gone.
Coleman. Right, all over the top of Coleman. The big on the little. Sedaris gets it on for Carroll. Carroll Harden straight, 4 or 5. They're centre field. Sedaris on for Andrews. Back they come for Hinchy. Coleman Coleman shaped the kick, lost his footing though, so again, no result after 6. Handover.
Once again, round that 22-metre area. They haven't put a bomb up all night. On that occasion, Tucker just slipped over, and Penrith, you throw a band-aid over the top of them, but they'll get out of their quarter all right, no doubt about that. Vandervoort's run very strongly tonight. Every time he's taken the ball up, he's made good yards and beaten a couple of tackles.
Yeah, he has had a good game, hasn't he? So Penrith have work play down midway between the half and the quarter. Comes up back for Boyd. He almost reaches the halfway line. Out for Fittler. Fittler stabs the ball in the air. Tries to split Maybon and Crossan, but Maybon comes across to get it. Well, Johnny Cartwright, Steve Roach, I think having one of the best games I've seen him in weeks, although I thought he played very well against St George last week too.
Well, he's a very good player. Unfortunately, Manoa Thompson a chance for South Sydney here.
So Keenan from Souths.
Very high tackle there from Brad Fittler. The crowd's gone berserk. Referee Graham West thought it was okay.
Matt
Comes in high, right around the noggin.
Matt Goodwin plays it back for Sedaris, onto Coleman, gets it onto Carroll, shows it, onto Johnston. Loose pass though. But Souths will retain possession. Back for Sedaris, now onto Coleman.
Souths look like they're just getting a roll on, and the last minute there they drop the ball, fumble the ball, but once they get down into that 25-yard area, that's where they're having the most problems in being able to do something creative, either kick the ball in the air, put it to the air, and get the chasers running through, because at the moment they're just stabbing the ball into touch and they're just not getting anywhere with that. All it's doing is letting Penrith regroup and bring the ball away.
Steve Roach.
Well, the players that would be helping John Cartwright as his forward partners. I mean, he doesn't have to get stuck in and do all the hard work, and he can stay out wide and use his skills, so that's very good for the young players.
Boyd. Penrith again midway between the half and the quarter. They're into the ground. Fittler. Wrapped up this time, though. She's been dangerous tonight. Powerful running. Cartwright gets it in five for Steve Carter. He's got support too with Bentley. Bentley takes it. They wrap him up though, and can't unload.
And there was an inside pass again from Cartwright. Plenty of gaps in there.
Carter unloads to Fittler. Oh, Fittler gets it on to Mackay. Mackay, it's a one-on-one. Yes, sir. Oh, he's too big and strong from there. Poor little Maybon. He would be having nightmares as big Graham Mackay just bore down on him over the line.
Yes, great try to the Penrith side. That'll wrap the game up for them. You see if Souths have got any pride. Look at that beautiful pass. And Hawson, Steve Hawson and Carter goes through. Bentley carries it on. And they went down the blind here. There's no Souths defence. They're all walking. But down the blind, and Fittler 2-on-1. And Mackay. Oh, how's Rod Maybon travelling? Good attempt.
The damage was done in the ruck area. I mean, they split them open. They turned the ball back inside. And then they just caught them out wide. The defence was just so lazy that they just couldn't get there.
Great attempt by Maybon. Oh, what about the bumblebees in the back there?
Yeah, Mackay got up a bit sore and sorry. In fact, he's still crouched over, just taking a bit of fluid in, but that hurt him a little bit. So, Matt Goodwin going off for Souths. And Leeds with another difficult shot, almost on the junction, the 22 and the touch. This will make it 20 points to 2 if it's successful, but a pretty tough angle. Been kicking with plenty of confidence tonight, though, Leeds. There's not a breeze at this ground. I'm looking at the flags on the ground. There's no movement of the flags whatsoever. There he goes. Oh, he'll forget about that one quickly.
Darryl, it's because they're steel flags.
Steel flags don't blow. 18-2, Penrith over Souths.
No, but you're right, there is no breeze.
Steel flags, give me a break. All right, Souths restart. 18 points to 2, Penrith leading here at the top end of Australia. Richardson Park, it's a picture too. By gee, it's lush and green and a good playing surface up here. Buffalo grass, I'll tell you. because there's no buffaloes on it. Boyd's been buffaloing his way through this game tonight, let me tell you. And here his brother takes him on again. He's been hard. He just spins and hits all the time.
Yeah, we don't know much about Shane Boyd. Haven't seen him play much, but he's been very impressive tonight. He's led the way for this Penrith side up front, looking for work. And now Maybon. He's got 8,000 Penrith players in front of him, and they handle him well.
So Maybon to play it on the 22. South's back in trouble again, trying to run themselves out of trouble through Keenan. Sedaris looking for Carroll. A hard run from Carroll, but going down with the ball. Too much defence from Penrith there. Brown shovels it out. And South still in their own halfway, and Carroll's got cramps. You can see he's holding his toes and bending them back. He'll be right in a minute or so, but Brown gets the ball. A lob pass for Brett Patterson. Had a good run in the first half. Patterson hasn't had many chances since. Brown turns it back for Patterson again. He sees a little gap. Patterson almost gets through too. Scoops it up though. Gives it straight to Cartwright. Oh! Big hit there on Leeds. Got slammed. Bang down.
Oh, thanks, Johnny Cartwright. Lovely pass. What about that one? Johnson was sweating on him and crunched him.
He really.
And now it's a penalty to the Penrith side. What's this? Not thanks for the ball, Johnny. Oh, hit the turf. Penrith now get the penalty. Early, it's once again South's mistake, holding on to the player in the play the ball.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I mean, it's been the story of the game all the way through from when they first kicked off. I think what you'll find here now that Penrith, what they'll start doing is that they'll be turning the ball back inside and cutting them back up, because they've found that they've made some easy yardage down that area.
Well, if Leeds had any fillings in his teeth, I'm sure they're loose now. Gee, it was a big hit. Okay, Penrith now through Tollett. They get it on to Mackay. Just scored the last try. Mackay, he's a powerhouse, this fellow. Injury through the first State of Origin game. Probably kept him well and truly out of the representative season, but he's got a future.
He's a great player. Great player. And Boyd, once again, looking for work. Been impressed with Shane Boyd, Steve.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's played well along with McNamara, but just on the call there, I think there's a few injuries in the Australian backline. I'm sure that he might get his test debut that he's been waiting so long for.
Tollett. Slam down. Andrews, the main tackle with Keenan. Comes back for Cartwright. Again on for Fittler. This time Sedaris just grabs him though. Nissen for Tollett. Tollett kicks. Maybon takes it nicely. Maybon with a nice, brings it back 34 metres. Good run from Maybon then. Crossan now, looking for some support.
Darryl Trundell on the field for the South side. Tricky to the customer. If he gets some open space, look out the Panthers.
So Trindell on, wearing the headgear in number 42. Penalty. South Sydney this time.
I think if you look back in the first 20 minutes of this game, I think you'll find that Penrith wrapped the game up then with the intensity and the sharpness. Around the play, the ball, the defence was real tight and good. And I just don't think South had the answer to that right in the first 20 minutes. They looked like they were still enjoying the carnival atmosphere. Penrith just got down to business and just got on with the game.
So Andrews talking here with Graham West. Manoa Thompson to take the kick. That test you're talking about, Steve Roach, that could be an interesting one too, because New Zealand just put the cleaners through Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, certainly will be, but I'm sure Mackay wouldn't think so. If he gets his first test stripe or his first test cap, he'll be very happy with that.
No, about that. So here's Penrith again. Look at this. They're just busting them every which way up the park. A lot of support here for Penrith too. A lot of the uniform colours out in this crowd here. Boyd, centre field. Cartwright looking for it, goes the other way to Tollett. Out for Carter. Carter shows it, can't get it away. Back inside for McNamara. Fifth tackle, 32 out. The little chip over the top from Fittler. He regathers too. Oh, what about that from Fittler? That's what the crowd came to see. Brad Fittler with a little chip over the top, regathers lovely and slams it down for another 4-pointer. That's what they want to see. Fittler in action here in Darwin.
Class with a capital C, this man. Absolute class. Beautiful little kick, got the regather, and just too easy around Maybon. He's now been involved in every Penrith try.
It's just too easy. It's just too easy for Penrith. They're probably thinking that they're on a practice stroll here at the moment. Everything what they're doing just keeps coming off, and I think South thinks to themselves they wish they weren't here and back down in Sydney.
Beautiful play from Brad Fittler, and as Fatty Vorton said, he's been involved in everything. Well, Steve Roach, he can do no wrong tonight.
No, he certainly can't. He's a great player, and certainly a player of the future. He's only 20 years old, I think, Freddie Fittler, and he's already played a handful of test matches.
Normally you see sides that when they're getting beat by such a score, large score, that they get a consolation try, but at the moment I can't see South even scoring at all, not even 2 points.
Leeds now. Right in front, stabs it over, flags go up, score now, 24 points to 2. Penrith over South Sydney here at Richardson's Park in the Northern Territory of Darwin. Big crowd having a good time here. Plenty of suntans here, Fatty.
Yeah, there is, Daryl. I'll leave that one alone if you don't mind. But South are just playing for pride, really. And Frank Curry wouldn't be doing his chances much good. He's in the throes of trying to work out a deal with the South Sydney management about coaching them next year, and are hiding at the hand of Penrith, not doing his chances much good.
So Mackay. Penrith just 4 or 5 out with Tollett. Makes it out to the 10 line. And Penrith again in 3. Almost out of this 22 area. Better defence from South, but now on the 22 line. So again, they're out of trouble. Here's Boyd. He's worked hard. Head down. Characteristic running style. Just burrows himself down to the ground. Leeds stabs it away. Maybon takes it on the second bounce. Has Crossan in support. It takes the tackle. Steve Carter, the tackler. Sedaris unloads for Thompson. Thompson shows it. Gets it for Trindle. Trindle, busy little player if he can get half a chance, as Paul Borton said when he came on. For Coleman. On to Carroll. Carroll wrapped up though, centre field. Midway between the half and the quarter. Penrith into the ground. They turn it back inside from Brown to Maybon. Flicks one out for Butcher. Butcher straightens it up. Goes 4 or 5. Trindle getting some attention from the trainer. After that tackle, goes from Coleman. Back in for Brown. But they're going nowhere, South. They've virtually made 1.5 meters.
And Brown dropped that cold and scrummed a pack down for the Penrith side. Penrith
have been a class act all night. They've done exactly what Phil Gould has probably asked of them. The forwards have led by example. They've hit it up really nice and tight and hard. They've softened the South pack and they've just let the backs run away with it, and the backs have just come in and made some good yardage for them.
Leeds. Steve?
I'd just like to ask Fatty if I could. I remember we watched South Sydney earlier in the year in a couple of early games, and they were putting on a lot of set plays around the rucks and moving the football around, instrumented by Craig Coleman. But tonight there's just been none of that. I think they're just up here on a holiday.
Well, yeah, they're copping or hiding, Steve, but I think the Penrith defence hasn't allowed them to put any of those plays on. And really, I think just give full credit to Penrith tonight. As Ellery said, they've done everything right. The kicking game's been outstanding, and South's just struggling.
I think we found that, South probably knew they'd lost the game before they came here because they had nothing to play for, and Penrith had everything to play for. I think psychologically that made a big difference.
Tollett. Maybon will clean it up. Gets a nice bounce. He can keep the pace going. Loses his footing though. Just slips down. Easy meat for Steve Carter, who got him last time in that same position too. Crossing now. Well, Ellery, you've had a time to have a look at the competition, the team so far here in Sydney. Your impressions against the English League standards from what you've seen here so far?
Well, I think the intensity in the Sydney League is probably a lot stronger, simply because, you know, the bottom sides and the top sides are probably quite close together, and in England setup in the league there, you'll find that, you know, the top side can play the bottom side and you can already predict the score, and that probably goes on further to say that when Great Britain do play Australia, psychologically have an advantage to Australia, simply because they can keep the intensity up, and, you know, that's how the game's played in the Winfield Cup.
Swings on one out for Carter. Carter through the first one, tried to link up with Steve Carter again. He'll trail him all night. Comes out for Mackay. Mackay flicks one back out for Boyd, gets it on to Tollett. Tollett on to McNamara. Loose pass, loose ball. Bentley.
6 to go, Darryl. Was touched in flight by a South Sydney player.
And lost a bit of ground there, but that won't worry Penrith. Out for Boyd again. Turns and hits with his back, trying to unload if he can. Out for Tollett. Plenty of willing workers here tonight. Plenty of them. Kennedy this time.
I think Graham West did some good work there, the referee. I mean, he saw that there was a high tackle there, but he allowed play to go on. He saw Penrith was in an attacking position.
Leeds with a bustling run. Just couldn't unload it. Mackay.
It just seems that Penrith, even if there's a breakdown in communication, that there's someone there to always clean up.
Here's the bomb. Maybon underneath it. Oh, lets it bounce, but safely for South Sydney.
But was it touched by Maybon? If it has been, it'll be a drop over. No, Brad Fittler having a spell on the sideline. Olechnik's gone on for him. No, it's been ruled that it wasn't touched by South Sydney, so it's a 22 tap for the South Sydney side. Carroll takes him up the middle.
To Carroll. Straight and hard up the middle, as he's done all night. Comes on to Johnston. Johnston gets through up to the halfway line. Good run from the two big front rowers then. They made plenty of territory, about 30 metres between the pair of them. Trindle now unloads it for Thompson. Thompson stepping, flicks a ball back inside, but Penrith clean it up. Through Boyd. So Penrith back in good field position again with plenty of options. Tollett, which way will he go? Goes to Nissen. Is there for any loss of power? The lights went out here in Darwin, but we're back on the air. Penrith still with the ball through Cartwright now. We apologise for any loss of picture there. The power went out here in Darwin. We're back on the air again. Penrith still have the ball. And they're attacking against South Sydney, but Maybon, geez, he had some work to do at fullback tonight. Plenty of cleaning up to do, Maybon, the little man.
Penrith unrelenting in their search for points tonight. I think Phil Gould, Souths, when they've had the ball the last couple of times, the Penrith defence seems to have dropped off a little. I think Gould, he's looking for a big win here. He'll be very, very disappointed if Penrith allow Souths to score any tries.
I think Souths have been under so much pressure, and they're under pressure here again from the dropout here, that, you know, Penrith look like they're good to score again sometime or another during the course of this game.
Mackay, look at the powerhouse! Mackay, he's going to go all the way! Oh, will he? Yes, he gets the ball away! Just couldn't make it! And now Thompson cleans it up for South. Oh, but Mackay, what a powerhouse!
Well, bad luck for Graham Mackay. Sensational run by him. He's beaten 18 players. Bit of drama over in the corner there. Graham West now calling out a South player, calling out number 4, which is Manoa Thompson.
He's a player who deserves to score a try there, and it was Graham Mackay. I mean, he's done some great work. He's took the ball up just like an extra forward. I mean, he's done some... I mean, you just saw him run down the touchline side. I mean, if there's a man to be called on for Australia, he's the man.
So Michael Andrews, the South's captain there, in 13, of course, with Manoa Thompson, and the penalty has gone to Penrith.
He ruled that Thompson held back the Penrith support there after Mackay made the break.
What a combination, having Michael Hancock on one wing and Graham Mackay on the other wing.
Here's the run by Mackay. Thompson there had pulled back a Penrith player about 10 metres back from that, and that was what the penalty was for. Penrith, they don't want goals, they want more tries, they're hungry.
good credit to the fullback of South. I mean, they're already under a bashing, and, you know, he came up with a good tackle there, so, you know, he deserves a good rap.
So Penrith right in front of the sticks now. Boyd shovels it out to Tollett. Tollett to Cartwright. Ollington. Did South come up with possession? Through Patterson.
One thing Penrith have done, when they have made a mistake, they've made it down deep in the 25-yard area of the South side, and, you know, it makes it twice as difficult for Souths.
Crowd of 9,000 turned out tonight to see these two sides come together in this Winfield Cup Saturday night football match. And this is Carroll. Trindle trailing him through, but Carroll couldn't get the pass away. Coleman. Coleman taking plenty of time to get up, or be allowed to get up to play that ball. South right away again through Thompson. He's tried pretty hard, Manoa Thompson. He's raided away on that far touchline a few times tonight. The defence just too good. Leeds again. Fine first half, been pretty safe in the second. What about this? Another good run back and straight into Johnston. That's the second time Johnston's nailed him.
Oh, they're getting very close, aren't they, those two? He'll be having nightmares, Leeds.
I think Paulie owes him some money somewhere along the line.
And that is 17 on for Penrith. We'll pick that player up as soon as we can. That's Gavin Doherty. Gavin Doherty on in 17. We'll work out who's come off in a moment. Fatty's looking at that now. And Kaya's off, injured after that big run he made and almost scored. Here's Steve Carter. Ollington. Wrestled down though, stays in touch in the field of play. I mean, did a good job there too. Steve Carter fires it back for Boyd. He hasn't stopped all night, Boyd. She's a worker. Brett Boyd then. He puts the ball in the air, Cross and takes it. And South right away now. Can they finally get a try on the board?
Not a very good kick there from Boyd. He kicked out to the open, but Penrith only had one player out there to chase, and that's why South were able to bring it back about 30 metres.
So Johnston's also worked very, very hard tonight. He's come onto the ball hard, and so has this man too, Carroll. He puts it down that time. Cleared away though, so South now with a chance with a run. A run of the ball is Trindle. Trindle with a suspect pass then to Coleman. They're still throwing it around though. Thompson feeds it back for Coleman. Now it comes on to Andrews. Andrews flung down though. But at least they're at the right end of the ground. Maybe they can get some try points on the board, the Rabbitohs. No, they've got a penalty instead. Yeah,
penalty for another infringement in the play of the ball. It's all we seem to see penalties for these days. As Sidaris takes one up.
Jimmy Sidaris unloads it out for Trindle. Trindle stepping around centre field.
Let's have Southland score now. This is the problem area they've had all night, really, to try and put some points on the board.
Carroll. Around about 6 metres out from the line. Carroll. Trindle, dummy half. Gets it on to Andrews. Andrews swings it out for Coleman. Mabon. Oh, the Muscat Patterson. Patterson, yes, sir. The Rabbitohs finally get on the board through Brett Patterson. And that's fair reward for Patterson. He's busted him twice. So a deserving try for Brett Patterson.
South have, at least they put some points on the board. Nice inside ball from Andrews. A couple of decoys out wide. Mabon, he picks up Patterson. And the man that just came on, Gavin Doherty, just a miss by him, and that's why the try was scored. But Patterson did hit the gap well.
I think that South have probably deserved that try. You know, they've worked hard, really. The score probably hasn't reflected that, but, you know, they've tried through the whole game, but Penrith have just been too good from the whole game. I think it's a case of that when South had got down there, sooner or later they probably had to score, really. They've had enough attempts and enough shots at it.
So 24 points to 6 now. South Sydney trailing Penrith. And Patterson, I was pleased he scored that try. He's made a couple of fine breaks tonight, Patterson. He's tried pretty hard. Right, Crossan now with his attempt to convert. He's on the junction of the 22 and the 10-metre line, in from touch. And looks the winner all the way. Let's have a look. Yes, Serge, he can kick a ball. So there we go. It's now 24 points to 8, Penrith over South.
And a couple of replacements made by the Penrith side. Brad Fittler back on the field. The man here, he plays Colin Vandervoort. John Cartwright also left the field. Phil Gould knows he's got the game won, just giving a few of his stars a rest.
Steve Roach.
Well, South have looked a bit more dangerous since Darryl Trindle's come on. I can't understand why he hasn't been on from the start. It must have been a bit of a mishap at training or something, but he's added that little bit of spark that South Sydney need.
So Sadara, centre field, plays it back. Carroll like with another bullocking, or should I say a buffaloing type run up here. And this big crowd's, well, been pretty entertained with Penrith's performance. And South in the last 10 minutes is Trindle. Trindle makes the break, puts the toe to the ball. It's a race to the ball now. Trindle, will he get the bounce? Oh, yes, sir. What a great individual try from Carroll Trindle. Oh, boy, has he shed him a light since he's come on. The chip and the kick and the beautiful bounce, and right under the black dot.
And Penrith, they've done what we said they shouldn't do. They've gone to sleep, the Panthers. Look at that space up the middle. Trindle, beautiful skills. If Fittler can do it, so can Trindle. And that's a great try to the youngster from South Sydney. Ellery, are they back in the match?
Well, I'd say they're a long way behind at the moment, and Penrith have just slipped off the intensity. They've known they've wrapped up the game. I don't think there's any real worry for Penrith for the fact that you know they've got to probably play for the full 80 minutes, and you know they can't let this South Sydney side score too many points and make the score look respectable.
Steve Roach, you picked it.
Yeah, well, he certainly is a sparky little player. We've seen him early in the season in the South Sydney games. He's been instrumental in their try scoring.
So Crossan converts the try, 24 points to 10. Much more respectable now for the Rabbitohs here in Darwin. And the big crowd enjoying that too. (24-14) the score here. The scoreboard's out, the power's out, but Ellery says that's the score.
Oh, why wouldn't Penrith take the time to come back to the halfway line? I mean, they've been shell-shocked by 2 quick tries, and they're probably thinking to themselves, let's eat away the clock.
Three minutes roughly remaining in this match. But as I said, that power cut out. It's chopped out the electronic system here. We're gathering it's about 3 minutes to go as Carroll brings it up. So the scoreline now 24-14, I remind you. So Souths with a good comeback in the last 10 minutes of this match. And certainly Trindle has made the difference. He really has been a spark, as Steve Roach picked. He's been pretty creative and tried a few new things, and that's what Souths had to do.
You just wonder if South had started the game like this, what the score would have been, or what kind of game it would have turned out to be.
Here he goes again, Trindle! Oh, what about Trindle since he's come on? And he puts it on again! Steve Carter racing back for Penrith. I think he'll get there first, yes sir! Oh, but Trindle, he's got some pace, he's got some brains!
Well, I know where he'll be next week. He'll be in the number 6 or 7 jumper. He's carved them up since he's come on. Great skills from him, lots of speed, evasive qualities. And he puts the chip through, and it's 42 on 42. Carter and Trindle. Carter too much pace, too much head start for Trindle.
Trindle shows some great skills there. But, you know, you've got to look at it as well that, you know, there's 2 minutes to go of the game, and, you know, it's a really tired Penrith outfit. They've worked hard all through the game.
Sadaris comes back for South Sydney to the 22. Well, time might be running out, but Souths have got some fire in the tails now. Coleman fires one out for Maybon. Maybon with a pass out for Manoa Thompson. Thompson goes hard and straight down the corner. Runs out of room though, too much defence. The cover came across. Crossan, they can sniff another try here. South Patterson scored the try for him. Muscles and hustles, but just short. They barge him in. I think they're there. I think they've got there. Well, Garlic has gone in for South Sydney. I can't believe this. Penrith have gone to sleep. But let's give credit to South. Their fight back's been great.
Give them some credit, but Phil Gould, he'll be filthy. Garlic, he sniffed out a try. Over he went.
Trindle certainly changes the course of this game. I mean, he's almost got them in a good field position to get them there, and they've just gone again and scored again. But I think you'll find that it's probably too late, and time will be against South Sydney.
Well, this fella doesn't miss too many. 24-18, 24-20 with his kick. On the field for just a few moments and scores the try, Garlic. But great work from Trindle and also Manoa Thompson. He's had a fine game tonight. Dreadful angle for crossing. Right on the 22, just a couple of metres in. He gets plenty of height and distance. Oh! It's a ripper! It's a ripper from Crossan. Now the scoreline, 24 points to 20. Can you believe the Rabbitohs fight back? This is Redfern stuff of old.
Unbelievable. Phil Gould, he's panicked. He sent John Cartwright, the captain, back on to lead the way. He wants the Penrith side to get home. Gus, what's doing?
Steve Roach, this is like South Savile.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? But I think Penrith thought they had this game wrapped up, but they certainly haven't. There's still a couple of minutes to go.
Well, reminding you the score, 24-20, and Souths get the ball back. They have got time. Where's Trindle?
I think now you'll see from the kick-off, you'll see some big defence from Penrith now.
Goes straight to Trindle, he unloads it now to Carroll. Carroll hard and straight, taken on the 22. The crowd wanted to see Trindle run the ball again. It's all over. Time has been called, it's all over. Well, a gallant comeback from South Sydney in this game here at Richardson Park in Darwin, going down to Penrith with a fine first half performance. Went to sleep a little bit, but let's not take any credit away from South Sydney. Final score 24-20. Big crowd here surging onto the field. They're going to have a great time meeting their heroes. We'll take a break, be back shortly to wrap up the match. Thanks, Paul. I don't think there was too much doubt about the man of the match tonight, Brad Fiddler. Sensational performance from you, some real powerhouse running.
Yeah, Carter got the ball out wide, and that was our plan, and worked well. So hopefully we can repeat that performance next week and keep going the semis.
It's pretty hard to get something said here. The kids really had to see their idols. Just hang on, kids, we'll be there in a second. But Penrith really showed some fighting qualities, but then you sort of went to sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Gus warned us against that. They're a dangerous side, and you got to respect them. But that we put up enough points to win the game.
Well, you've had plenty of things happen out Penrith way over the last couple of weeks. It's, I guess, nice to be back on the winning trail again, and back with some purpose in the side.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's back together now, and hopefully with a few injured fellas coming back, we'll be a stronger force. So, that's what happens.
Well, Brad, $1,000 from MMI Insurance. Congratulations on that. I'm sure that'll go down well this afternoon. And all the kids, I think we'll just leave it there, Fatty. Back to you.